Why, hello there, the Walrus Clown here, and today we have quite the doozy of an animated film, Rock and Roll, an animated musical that was a total bomb when it hit theaters. In the early 80s, like it only made $30,000 when it had a budget of $8 million level King Kamea mega bomb and almost bankrupted the studio responsible, Nelvana Entertainment, while it was at it. Was this movie really as terrible as the box office makes it seem, or is it a hidden gem that was just ahead of its time? Let's find out after the intro. Otter, roll the title sequence! Well, first things first, let's get the technicals out of the way. Rock and Roll was an animated rock musical made with licensed music, and by licensed music, I mean they use the actual recordings of Cheap Trick, Chris Stein, Blondie, Earth, Wind & Fire, and others, as opposed to having voice actors perform covers. Which means more editing headaches for me, because copyright strikes for music companies are the worst kind and the hardest to fight. Joy bunnies! Anywho, normally I do the characters before the actual story, but this time I feel like switching things up, and we are going to handle the characters as we get to them. Anywho, onto the movie. We open on a blue-hued Star Wars-esque text crawl that explains the backstory about how this world made up of anthropomorphic cats, dogs, and rats is what arose out of the nuclear apocalypse that wiped out humanity after World War III, and that the cats, rats, and dogs evolved into humanoid forms and made their own civilization that now rivals what we considered modern technology during the 80s. Wow, that backstory to this world was overthought. Couldn't the movie just take place in an anthro world without explaining why everyone was anthro? Did Disney explain Mickey and Donald with a convoluted backstory about how they were mutants or something? No! They were just anthropomorphic characters. Can you tell from the convoluted backstory that this came out of a decades-long development hell? This started in the 70s as a kids' film and had a revolving door of directors before arising out of said development hell. We haven't even made it past the opening screen and I already have an aneurysm. Pardon me for a moment. Anywho, we open on our main characters, Omar and Angel, who are backstage getting ready to lip-sync a Cheap Trick song, only for Mickey Mouse's rival Mortimer to pull the curtain on them and Omar threatens him with violence to let them perform one last number. With this, Angel lip-syncs to Debbie Harry, but this upstages and emasculates Omar and he huffs off in a hissy fit. But we cut to a shadowy figure watching Angel sing all throughout the song. This turns out to be our obvious villain of our picture, the musical superstar Mock, whom we will talk more about later. After the show, Omar goes outside to apologize to Angel for being such a dick. Then we cut to make-out point and they are clearly getting ready to do the horizontal monster mash. When one of Mock's goons proves that he isn't a bro at all and cock-blocks Omar and Angel from getting it on by vandalizing Omar's car to invite them to Mock's obvious supervillain lair. First, Omar is hesitant and indignant about the whole thing, and understandably so. I wouldn't be too keen about a dog-ogre hybrid thing interrupting me mid-coitus either. Anywho, Angel thinks this might make their musical career take off, so talks him into doing it. Then we cut to the next day where the whole band is at the supervillain mansion, where it's revealed that Mock has employed a whole family of dog-ogres on roller skates, do his bidding and whatnot. Can you tell this was written in the late 70s, early 80s? When cocaine ran from people's noses like waterfalls? Because that would go a long way to help explain a few things about this film. Anywho, after a scene where Omar has a few yucks at the dog ogre's expense that goes on way too long, Mock, aka the single most flamboyant, over-the-top prima donna 80s cartoon villain to ever ham the silver screen, and the best part of this movie, makes his unshadowed appearance.
Anyone want a beer?
After Angel fangasms and Omar makes a few unfunny wisecracks at Mock's expense, Mock gets Omar and the other two band members high on some kind of sphere that is clearly meant to represent but be legally distinct from cocaine. And because there's a strong chance that the algorithm will screw up and show this to kids, even though both this movie and YouTube channel are adult-oriented, not for kids under the age of 13, let me get this little PSA out of the way.
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs. If you do them, you're bad. Because drugs are bad, okay? It's a bad thing to do drugs, so don't be bad. by doing drugs, okay? That'd be bad. The drugs are bad. Okay.
Anywho, while this is going on, Mock goes out of his way to try and seduce Angel into signing with him, and this is a good point to go over his backstory and evil villain plan. He used to be this universe's #1 musician, let the fame go to his head, and after he fell, he started dabbling in the dark arts and now wants to unleash a demon from the underworld, but needs one specific voice to do it. And Angel just so happens to have it, and he wants to do this because reasons. Did I mention that this came out in the 80s, where cocaine flowed from screenwriters' noses like a waterfall? Because I feel this is more than apparent by this point. Anywho, after saying no, this happens.
You will bring me my demon, whether you like it or not.
Why yes, Mock did just use magic worms to Ruthie the poor girl and take her off in a pimped out supervillain blimp. Do I need to remind everyone what decade this came out in? Anywho, the dog ogres put Omar and the other 2 band members behind the wheel of a car and shove it off. Anywho, after humor scene where it's revealed that the fat one listened to Mr. Mackey and didn't take any of the drugs and had to be forcibly knocked out but can't drive and crashes into a fountain, he reveals that he overheard that Mock is taking Angel to New York. As if the opening text crawl wasn't enough to clue in the audience that this takes place after the apocalypse. Then a cop shows up and starts to berate them, and after Omar uses his superpower of being an obnoxious dick to distract a cop, they steal his cop car to go to New York, with a rocking travel montage of the idiot trio taking their road trip there. In the meantime, Angel gets help escaping from Mock's villain tower from a female dog ogre, and that girl dog ogre is the dog ogre's younger sister and is named Cindy. And Angel overhears from a vent Mock doing some Tommy Wiseau-esque scenery chewing that makes the exposition about how to stop him all the more entertaining. Just watch.
You can be stopped. There is a force which can send the being back.
Send it back? What? Where? Who?
The being can be sent back by the magic of one voice, one heart, one song.
Magic? Magic, magic. One voice, one heart, one song. Gibberish garbage. Who is this person?
Individual's identity presently unavailable, Mark. Search will start now. Now checking. Now checking.
Who can stop me? Is it the girl?
You bumming out on me?
No way.
Well, okay then. Let's get out of here before we get
According
caught.
to the key, the being can be sent
I
back
know,
by the magic.
I know. One voice, one heart, one song. But who is it?
After that, the girls end up at Dance Club 666, because subtlety is for losers. And this is where some of the film's more trippy imagery reaches its zenith. Anywho, after some unfunny shenanigans where Mock's goons catch Angel, Omar ends up following them and Mock ends up, well, it's easier just to show you than explain it.
Omar. What a pleasant and unexpected surprise.
Hi, Big O. How's it going?
Perhaps we should invite Omar up for a spell.
This ends up being an illusion caused by Mock, and the angel lookalike is a really messed up looking Rule 63 version of Golem wearing a specially made face mask to fool Omar. Then we cut to Mock trying to get Angel to agree to sing, but she again refuses. But then it's revealed that he has Omar and the other two in a giant pink ball of death that is slowly electrocuting them to death. So she agrees to sing because hostages. Then it's revealed that Mock has used drugs to brainwash the three into being complacent brain deads that only sing what is basically elevator music. And Mock tries to use Angel's song to summon the demon, but ends up blowing up Carnage Hall in New York City because there wasn't enough electrical power to pull it off. And have to move the demon summoning concert to Angel's hometown where Omar and a gang are. Convenient! Then, after Mock gets one of the worst villain songs I've ever heard that only gets a pass because Mock is the one singing it, we cut to one of the dumber dog ogres watching one of those brain-dead Dora the Explorer-esque babysit your kids while you take a nap shows that tries to claim its education when it really isn't. And what he sees makes him start to think that maybe they are the bad guys? And I'm betting that the writers thought they were clever and that we wouldn't see this as foreshadowing for the obvious heel turn to come. Did they? Then we cut to a scene that I have to put a trigger warning in front of because it gets too real for a moment where Mock flat out physically abuses Angel after an argument. It has a domestic spousal abuse vibe and in fact gets so bad that they cut to black instead of showing the real messed up stuff, but you can still hear it. You've been warned.
Going to sing! And without me, you are nothing. You're a fraud, Mark. What? No hocus pocus.
You will see.
Are you okay?
She can sing or she can scream. But she still pissed me off.
Then Omar and gang come to their senses and go to save Angel. And the demon gets summoned and we get treated to the most brutal death metal concert ever. Then Omar tries to save Angel and stop the demon, but just as the demon is going to kill him, the dumber dog ogre jumps in to save him, and ends up getting knocked away and dies in his brother's arms. And this causes the brother to turn sides as well, and gives Mock the scariest death glare so scary I think I'll be seeing it in my nightmares for a few weeks. Anywho, Angel reasons that if she sang it here, she can sing it back into the pit. And just as this is about to fail, Omar steps in and joins in with the song. And their hearts and thoughts join together as one is the voice that puts the demon back. And just as Mock is having one last bit of being his hammy self, the other dog ogre throws Mock into the pit with the demon, thus ending Mock's reign of terror, and thus we come to the end of this movie. What can be said about this film? I can more than understand why it failed so hard. Putting drugs, sex, and heavy violence in an animated film wouldn't fly with people being under the misunderstanding that animation was only for kids back then. And I'm betting most couldn't follow what was happening if I wasn't giving you the play-by-play. But there's a lot of merit here. The animation is just about as top tier as a hand-drawn Western animated film put out by someone other than Disney was capable of getting. Some of the imagery was down and out trippy. The dark and gritty look of this movie really helped set it apart from what was coming out at the time. And while not conveyed in the best way, Omar goes through an arc where he realizes that Angel's love and the friendship of the band are more important than fame, Mock being somewhat of a dark reflection of what Omar could become. And Mock is at the tippity top of the over-the-top flamboyant 80s villains. I consider this film to be a bit of a guilty pleasure because of the good in it, but the bad pacing, muddled moral message, and the parts where it's hard to follow make it a hard sell for the average viewer. If I gave grades on a number scale, it would get a solid 4.5 out of 10. Anywho, stay tuned to see what's next. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I'm the Walrus Clown, signing out. See you next time! Hello there, this is the Walrus Clown here. If you like what you saw, could you please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and turn on notifications? It helps me a lot more than you realize. Well, anyway, see you next time.